Hey guys, welcome out to the shop today. A couple or 2 weeks ago, I purchased a pretty big plane lot, and I've been working through them and trying to get them all cleaned up and stuff. And since then, I also purchased a lot of 6 hollow and rounds, and they came in fairly decent condition. There's some that are dirty, used. I mean, the normal kind of stuff for the age that they are in. All of them have maker's marks, which are awesome. I haven't really yet dabbled into all the information on who is what and stuff like that. I do know that I have one that is a somewhat rare plane, and it is this hollow plane right here. It is a Livingston from out of New York, and it has the word extra in the middle, and that is kind of a rarer plane, which is even better. But today I wanted to go through these with you guys and kind of show you guys my method of cleaning planes up. I got a couple here that still need it. As you can see right here, this one's still fairly dirty. I have taken all the irons out because these were all beading planes, and I put them in an evaporust solution already just for like 2 hours to kind of knock off the rust that's on there. I will take a Scotch-Brite pad like this and go over them again just to try to knock off even more and kind of clean up the iron. And then if I get anything that's like really too shiny, I will go ahead and use a super blue solution and re-blue the iron. So after hitting it up with some Scotch-Brite and getting it honed, I have a really super shiny iron, and I don't really like that look with the older planes. And so what I use is that super blue, and it comes with the directions on there, but I just kind of put it on paper towel, and we'll get up close to do this. You just put the stuff on your put it on your paper towel, and then you can rub it on the metal, and you let it sit there for just a little bit. And it's not gonna like super darken it up like it's been aged forever, but it does make it darker and doesn't leave it so out there and shiny. So you guys can see that it's even a little bit darker right now. And I'm gonna leave it there for just like a minute or two, and then we're gonna rinse it off and look at the plane. All right, so for this hand plane, it is an AC Bartlett's Ohio plane. I haven't looked this one up yet, but it's in pretty good condition. Somebody engraved their name or their initials on there, FH probably. And there is a 5/16 wrote on the back. And as you can see, it's pretty dark. The wedge isn't in really bad condition. I've had some where the wedges are broken. I actually just did one that it was broken. So what we're gonna end up doing is just separating the two pieces. And I have a solution that I use right here. And it is not salsa, it is a turpentine and boiled linseed oil mix. 2/3 is boiled linseed oil, and that kind of helps soak into the wood, but I don't soak the planes in the boiled linseed oil. I have before, and it doesn't really do anything really. It gets it a little bit kind of soaked up in there, but nothing really good. And then I have this worn out Scotch-Brite pad, and I just get to cleaning it. And the turpentine works in a way to where it kind of cleans it if there's any kind of paint or really any dirt, debris. It gets into all the different crevices and stuff like that, and really helps clean that up with the Scotch-Brite. And then the boiled linseed oil kind of helps just bring the wood back a little bit of moisture. It kind of soaks in there, and that's also what the turpentine does. It really dilutes the boiled linseed oil and allows it to kind of get in there. and I have paper towels on hand. And as I'm doing this, I don't let the solution dry on the wood. I constantly am wiping it off and cleaning it up. And right there, guys, you can tell there's a pretty big difference already from the clean stuff, and then this is the old. And we're just gonna kind of keep on working at this, making sure that you get into all the little grooves the best you can. I'm gonna get this finished up in just a minute, and I'll show you guys what the entire plane looks like after. So here it is. The plane has been cleaned up. You can see the maker mark on the front, very good. All the boxing is in really good shape. And right now, when you rub your hand over it, you can kind of feel where it's like a little bit dry, but it's cleaned up. And if you can remember from the very beginning, there was like a weird line right here, and there's these two holes, and that is for where somebody has attached a fence onto this to, I guess, kind of make this like a side beating plane or something like that, but this is center beating plane. So cleaning up with the turpentine blood linseed oil has actually cleaned up that whole entire mark where the fence was actually attached to this, and so now it looks pretty much like normal again. And so now I have another thing, and this is beeswax. This is 1/3 part beeswax, 1 turpentine, and then 1 as well of boiled linseed oil. And this helps kind of break down the beeswax with the turpentine, and lets it get into the wood a little bit better. And what I do is I just put the stuff on my fingers. Don't use any kind of rag, because the rag will actually stick into the wood, and it's not really good. If you use red rags, it can actually tint the wood. I have used it before, and I know from personal experience that you can tint the wood with the red rags and stuff like that. And all you do is just rub it in there, and it'll actually start to darken it up a little bit. And it gives it a little bit of moisture, a little protection, and you don't really have to worry about putting too much on right now, because we're just going to be coating this whole thing. Make sure that you get in all the little grooves, and that's essentially what we're doing. We're just putting on like a new layer of protection of what they probably would have done back in the day. They didn't soak the planes in boiled linseed oil from doing a little bit of research. They would put like a beeswax or something on there, and I'm just doing the turpentine beeswax just to kind of make it go into the wood a little bit easier. And after this is where you have to clean up the rest of the wax. Make sure that if you've done the bottom, that you get the make sure that if you've done the bottom, you also get the beeswax on that. And just go back and forth, and during the next step you'll be able to actually get into the groove, because we're ready for the next part. Alright, so we've gotten the plane clean, we got beeswax on there, but we just can't leave it all nasty and waxy looking. So what I've been doing, and what I found that works really well, is just using a paper towel. And you don't go back and forth, you actually do circular motion, and that helps work the wax and stuff back into the wood. And pretty much at this point all you're doing is polishing it, and you're trying to remove the excess wax. You might need a couple paper towels to do this to finish it off. But I'm just making sure that I look for any spots that look like they haven't been hit by the beeswax to make sure I get into those. Make sure you get your ends really well. And then even for your bottom, you can just run up and down both sides, and then you can fold your paper towel over and get into that little groove of where that bead would be. And this actually helps guide the, or not guide it, but help it slide a little bit better as well. And I got a little bit of wax in the escapement, so we'll get that out. Put that in the little bead area. And you'll have wax like all over your hands. That's why you'll end up having to wipe it down a couple different times and switch hands, you know, do whatever possible to kind of work it in there and get it all cleaned up. So there we go, guys. This is the plane after it's been cleaned up and waxed. It looks fantastic. It's got a good feel to it. So now we gotta still do the wedge, and we're gonna be doing the wedge exactly the same way because it is just as dirty. So we'll hit it up with some of the turpentine boiled linseed mix and clean it. Now when we go to wax this, what you do is you can wax. You guys see the mark of where it's been in the plane, where it's been out of the plane. This is outside of the plane, this is inside. Don't wax the inside part. Only wax the stuff that's on the outside, because what happens, and I have bought other hand planes that people have cleaned up, and they'll wax the entire wedge, and when you go to start planing, this is just slick and it starts sliding out of the wedge hole, and or the little mortise that it sits in, and it's a nightmare trying to use. I don't see the plane over here, but I just recently bought one and the whole entire thing was waxed, and I thought something was wrong. Started feeling on the wedge and you could feel it was really waxy. So I took some sandpaper to it and very just lightly scuffed over the whole thing, popped it back in there, and the plane works fantastic. So we'll get that cleaned up. So this is after cleaning it. You can see there's not really any more of a difference in between the two, like the inside and outside of the wedge. So what we'll do is we'll just get on a very, very small coat of the wax on your fingers, and you don't really go that far down there on the wedge as you're coating it, and you'll be all right with it, and it'll still be good. We're just staying on the top half, just giving it that little bit of a polish. And then I can bring this back over here, pop it in. That looks like it matches now. And then here is the iron where it has darkened up. So we'll put the iron in and we'll give it a little bit of a test run. So I've already taken a couple passes on there just to make sure everything was kind of fine-tuned with the blade depth. And as you can see that it's made a little bit of a bead. And what you do is you just kind of, you would make your mark that you would follow. And now the groove in the plane helps you follow after that first cut. And this is on pine, so it's kind of crappy, but and it's just like that, and it leaves that nice little groove here in the middle. Alright, so we are done with that profile now. So the one cool thing about the center beading plane is that it has its own little depth stop by the two sides, and that's what creates that nice little groove, or the little bead on your molding. So even in this really crappy pine, you guys can see how nice of a little bead it makes right in the middle of your stuff. So it's very neat. You guys see that? There it is. A little bit better. Alright guys, so that's just how I pretty much clean up my hand planes and get them ready for use. Sharpening is a different thing. There's all sorts of different techniques to do that. You run into hollow and rounds, beads, rabbet planes, all sorts of different types of planes that you need to learn how to sharpen. But after you get your planes cleaned up, start learning how to sharpen them, and you guys will enjoy your hand planes. And then you'll start collecting them and being able to use them with ease and make all sorts of decorative stuff. So this little AC Bartlett, is it AC? Yeah, AC Bartlett hand plane is going to be going on the shelf and waiting its turn in use on the next project. So thanks guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and learned something about how to clean hand planes. If you guys have any questions, comments, leave them down in the section below. Thanks guys for watching. If you guys are new, hit that subscribe button. And as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.